a hard morning's workout, you'll need something quick and nutritious, like Cadbury Smash. Real potato pieces that ripple with vitamin C, leaving you raring to go. Get Smash.
Hello, alright my lovers, it's Antman here. We are watching the very first MLG Scrub League. We have 4 Terrans. We have Altered Ego in the 11 o'clock position. Scrolling down here we have Doggy Darko. Sorry, I've got this wrong way round. Okie dokie. So, top right we have Danger Mouse. We have Altered Ego. They are playing off against the experienced Doggy Darko and relatively new but dangerous Hunter VP, sporting a very nice pink Terran there. Everything's fairly standard at the moment, just SC being up. This map is quite favourable to Terran because there's only a few ramps, only a few points of access into the base, so they can get some siege tanks going just to close them off. Okie dokie. First up, Doggy Darko. He's been droning up hard. He's got his supply depot going down, going for the wall off, whereas Pete here is just throwing one on his base, and he's going for a refinery first. Quite a bold move. Looks like he must be going for some sort of mech play. Up at this end, it's all very standard. Both of them are throwing down their supply depots and nothing else at the moment. All very standard down this end. Couple of barracks going up here, nearly completing the wall off, although there is a separate ramp on the right hand side here, so Danger Mouse will have to get some extra walling off going on. And now we see the barracks coming up, although he's got that refinery all loaded up, so he should be getting quite a bit of gas in. We can see already he's at 96, 98, 100, so as soon as that barracks finishes I'd expect factory to go up. Over here with Dougie, he's completing the very standard wall off, not going for anything adventurous, although he does now have 2 gas, although the second refinery only has 1 out of 3 SCVs supplying it. Up here we've got some slow gas coming in for Altered Ego, and 2 out of 3 here for Danger Mouse. Second barracks going up, and a bunker. Oh dear, Peter's sat on a fair few minerals there. He could be capitalising on this. He's floating. There we go. He's just spent 100. I'm not sure what on. An engineering bay. Quite a strange tactic from Pete here. And here we go. Dougie is getting up his factory. Now he's got both refineries fully loaded. I expect what will happen is he will lift off that barracks as soon as the factory is complete and do the switcheroo. Just so then he can start popping out siege tanks nice and quick. It's faster than the factory producing its own tech lab. Nope, he's doing it his own. As there's such a distance between the 2 sets of players, there's no real rush. There's yeah, not a huge chance of any quick units coming in. Although I would... No, we've just got standard marauders coming out and another bunker. Here we go, finally the factory from Pete. No upgrades as yet, although he's got that engineering bay, he can start knocking out some turrets. Here we go, we're going for the switch from the factory to the starport. So, Dougie could be looking to get out some Banshees, or maybe just a Raven to prevent cloaked Banshees attacking. He's already, he's getting the cloaking for the Banshees, researching now. I imagine he'll get another tech lab on this barracks, and he'll be getting out some cloaked Banshees. Moving the barracks out, there we go, and the second starport is going there onto that already existing tech lab, so we can expect to see in about 2 minutes or so some cloaked Banshees making their way up to the north. And what have they to try and combat this? Not a huge amount at the moment. There's no engineering bay from any of them, so if these Banshees come in entirely cloaked, they could expect to see heavy SCV losses. Oh, there we go, we have an engineering bay. His psychic powers are with him today. By the sounds of it, I think a scan just went down from Chris, which means they have seen, they got the money scan, they have seen that these starports have 2 tech labs on them, which immediately says to any Terran player they've got some Banshees coming down. Another barracks coming up here. Looks like he's going for Marines and Banshees. Not a lot happening on those factories as yet, no units coming out. So it looks like we're going for, yeah, Banshees, Marines, possibly a few medivacs here from Dougie. Coming over to Pete. What is he knocking out now? Another barracks. He's letting his energy build up there on his orbital command. He could throw down a couple of mules if he wishes. Another barracks and another one planned here. At the moment he's knocking out some Hellions and one Marauder. Although he's getting out an early Ghost. It could be to try and drain the Medivac's energy, although not really sure on the Ghost's purpose in TVT. Not a huge amount of use unless he's going to be building some nukes. Where's his Ghost facility? He's hidden it somewhere. I'll find it, there we go. Here we go, he's researching cloaking, and he already has a nuke there by the looks of it. So he could be looking to cloak a Ghost, sneak up on the side, hope there's no detector units like a Raven or missile turret, and yeah, get a big nuke down on this big wall off here, or maybe even on the main wall off. There's still no missile turrets going down, although the engineering bay has completed. So we've just got only 2 missile turrets protecting his mineral line, although if they don't get any in the front, this Ghost could wipe all this out, which will leave the front door open for a big attack. Currently supply cap, nope, there we go, he's got him out. There you go here, sieging them up. So with him, with the he has the higher ground, so any units wandering into this area will not see that siege tank. So if they come in for a frontal attack, they're going to get nailed. We have the cloaked Banshees coming in here from Dougie Darko, although they do meet the missile turret. Some pressure coming in. Could there be a gap between? Could he try and wheedle his way in? A Marine's out there, a scan goes down, he sees them, but 1 Marine versus 4 Banshees is never going to end pretty for the Marines. He's pulling back now. 2 of those Banshees have taken damage, so he could be going back for repair. It's joined by a 5th, although all the time they are cloaked, their energy is slowly seeping down. When the energy finally drops down, they're trying to brute force this missile turret down. Now they're going into the SCV line. Not a lot else protecting it. I mean, he's got some Marines there, but he's got enough for a scan, but he's going to need more firepower than that to take out these Banshees. There we go, the cloak now running out on these Banshees. But he hasn't got a lot of anti-air to protect against it. Coming in here from Matt, Mr. Troke. He's sending some Marines over to try and fox these Banshees. Pete coming in behind. He has that ghost, it has full power, it has a nuke, and it has cloak. But it's running into the field of that siege tank. He could be very bad off here if that ghost gets fragged. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, he didn't want to do that. Taking heavy losses there, Pete. Although the Banshee's trying to come in support, they do take down that siege tank. Although the Banshee attack has been quelled. But the damage has been done. That command center has been taken out. A nuke has been called in. The ghost survived. But the Marine has seen it with the missile turret there, revealing his cloak. The ghost cannot move. And he gets taken down milliseconds before that nuke gets a chance to land. There we go. And Matt now expanding. His natural expansion out here. Already having the natural inside the base here, which would normally be occupied by the third player. So, coming up now from Ego, we have a more standard army, about 15 Marines and 2 siege tanks. The siege tanks do have siege mode, however, without any air units, oh he has one there, he may not be able to see the higher ground, so he could just get shot down without seeing a thing, unless he's willing to use his scans from his command centers. Moving out here, we have some defensive measures for that expansion, but here comes Dougie. This can be seen. Cloak Banshee goes in to give him the higher vision, and those siege tanks will get to work on that missile turret. That SCV just coming up again, although those siege tanks can see it, although it'll take a fair while for those tanks to take down that command center, although it will be helped out. It's now morphing into a planetary fortress, which has short range but is devastating. He's scanned it, but there's not a lot anything can do. The planetary fortress is now about to complete, however that cannot shoot down air units. He's sieging up Danger Mouse to try and counteract this, although they do take a couple of seconds to siege, and it has caught him out. Now attacking the siege tank. Oh, with Marauders moving in, these will also not be able to hit this Banshee. It's looking pretty dire here for Altered Ego. He's got that base out the back, but he can't help for hurting for this a wee bit. Down to just 32 supply. Let's have a look down here. We haven't. All the action's been concentrated up the north end, so we've got some standard mining going on. This command center does have full energy coming out on the production side. We have just knocking out some Marines here for Dougie Darko. Coming over to Pete, he hasn't had a huge amount of aggression, so he should have a fair few built up forces. He's got a couple of medivacs, a Viking, and a small Marine and Marauder count. Hasn't taken a second gas on his expansion. Another refinery here for Dougie on his natural expansion down here. Not a lot of aggression from the north at the moment. They've been under the thumb a wee bit. Matt is still quite defensive here with his natural expansion. He's using a lot of mules in it. He doesn't want to lose a lot of SCVs to a Banshee attack. Although he does have a bunker, but it has Marauders in it, so if anything flying comes over, it's not going to be able to do a lot. No refineries on there as yet. Now about the 18-minute mark, resources are about to run out, I would suggest, on the mains. So we've probably got about 3-4 minutes left on that one. And okay, Peter hasn't CV'd up quite as heavy. He's probably got about 5 minutes left on that one. Not a lot at all. This one is just about to run out. If he's going to keep producing such a heavy army, Dougie's going to need to expand again. So he's probably going to be looking up to the north, up here. This is his next closest. Sorry, no, I tell a lie. It's in this island in the middle, which does have destructible rocks there, which if he throws a supply depot down, he can tell when they're being destroyed. The loneliest SCV there. I would call him Jerry. And he's got a crystal. Just standing there, just waiting to see. It's an early scout. So every time a unit's destroyed, you still have vision there for about 3 or 4 seconds, so then you can see what composition of army is coming up. On the production side now, we've got a lot of upgrades here from Dougie. He's bankrolling. So he's got a planetary fortress coming down in the expansion. He's anticipating an attack. From Altered Ego here, we have the 250mm strike cannons. That's for his Thors. I saw one out. I'm not sure how many he has. Where's he hiding it? Where's he hiding that 20-foot mech? Okay, there's 3 there. But again, it's still very much on the defensive. If they're going to hide in their base forever, they're just going to get eaten out. Not in that way. Oh god, I can't believe I said that. No, they're just going to, yeah, starve themselves out without enough resources. Well, I can imagine. Here we go, another attack coming in. Hopefully the SCV may see it. No, he's pulled it back. Which is a shame, because he would have seen that coming and he could have got his Thors back over to his side. Dougie, again, preferring to attack on the left-hand side. A missile turret coming up, that's going to see those 4 Dave cloaked, but he knows what's coming. 5 Banshees, he scanned it. Those Marines ain't going to be able to touch him. This missile turret maybe do a wee bit of damage. Oof, very nearly taken 1 down. So 2 are minorly damaged. We have Marines here waiting. The missile turrets will detect them. So we have 3 now. Oh, and here come the Thors. He has got 1 left in his main base. That would be the thing Dougie would not like to see. Thors will eat up those Banshees. Back here in the central wall off. Okay, and Vikings as well. With them sat inside their base, they've built up enough scan energy that they can keep these detected. This is probably just going to let them sit here for a minute. There's a lot of army here doing not a lot at the moment for Altered Ego. That early attack really making him paranoid. He has some Marines stationed in his mineral line. Surprised he doesn't get another command center coming up here. He can't have a lot of money. In the moment he has missile turrets, another 3 Thors in production, and a couple of upgrades, 1 for the Marine and 1 for the Terran vehicles. Over here for Mr. Troke, we have a lot of tanks and a lot of Marines. If you look at his supply count there, he's up to 1. Okay. Some Banshee pressure coming in. He's got enough Marines. They should have enough scan energy. They'll be able to wipe this out if they don't fly away. I'd suggest with these units here and that Medivac sat there tempting, I'd even suggest doing a nice little drop, possibly into Peter's expansion over here, which is currently doing nothing. But Pete is supplying up very nicely. He's now 108. RCVs, looks like he's about to bring that base into action. A lot of SCVs stood around doing nothing. This could be used quite effectively on this empty mineral line now. Although he is bankrolling 1,600 on the minerals and 3,500 on the gas. He's got money coming out his arse, but very little in production from him. He's got an armory and 3 Marines coming out. He should really be macroing up more and creating more units, because if a push comes, he could be in trouble. But he looks like he's going for some covert ops. He has 1, 3, 4, 6 loaded up Medivacs. Looks like he may be going for a big push in collusion with Mr. Dougie Darko, also with loaded up Medivacs. So it looks like we could be seeing a push quite soon. These Medivacs brought over to the left hand side from Peter and from Dougie. One of the strengths of Terran is the drop, especially against other races. It's one of the main strengths, the mobility of the forces. More missile turrets going down while he leaves the base with his main force just protecting against an opposition drop or some Banshees of their own, although not a lot of air coming out for Altered Ego. A lot of Thors though, a whole lot of Thors, which will absolutely decimate any sort of air attack. If these Thors see Medivacs moving out, they will eat them up. So some forces here, 8 Marines here for Peter. Sorry, 9. Against an army of, I don't know, about 100 supply there. I don't fancy their chances. Peter now taking this gold expansion. He's going to get even more money. He might be able to retire to an island at the end of this. Still with 3,000 minerals, 4,000 gas. Supply slowly coming up, although this is quite a passive game. More Marines joining his charge up here. This could be a diversionary act. When these Medivacs down here in the south start moving and mobilising. Oh, here we go. If these start mobilising and going up, he could send those Marines in just to try and draw some of the army. Try and macro them, stutter micro them. Here we go. It looks like a big push could be coming down here though. They have joined together. And it looks like they're going down the right hand side of the map. That Banshee not lasting long. Again, it could be a distraction because they come out here with the loaded Medivacs, both of them. Although they're seen by the missile turret. Pete's slow to react. But a drop does go down. It's going to eat away that command center. Not a lot he can do with that. Even if he lifted off, they'd still be hit. But the Medivacs have been seen. Their forces haven't pushed out yet. But it could be disastrous if these forces all come in and land, and while the other forces walk off, it could be a straight base trade. And again, heavy missile turrets on the left hand side if they do try and push this way. Okay, they see a force and a lot of Medivacs and not a lot of infantry. Have they reacted? Here we go, they're mobilising over here. Will the drop get off there? They're about to meet. This couldn't be pretty if these Medivacs go down. With Marines inside, all the units die. He gets a scan down to see, he backs those units off. Those Medivacs, they're nearly going down. They're coming in anyway, 2 siege tanks. Versus a whole lot of army. The drop comes down from Dougie Darko out the base. He's sieging up. He's taking a defensive position. Moving out with his mobile forces. Although Danger Mouse's tanks are already sieged up, they're going to find quite a hard fight here. Although he's running straight into the view of the siege tanks, he's going to have heavy infantry losses here. The Medivacs coming out as possibly just a little tempter, just to try and pull those units into the view of those siege tanks. Here they go. He's got to push now. He can't just sit in that area. Heavy, heavy losses for Danger Mouse. Coming in with the flank, with the Thor from the south side. Is Altered Ego. That tank won't have a lot of success, but these Thors have heavy armour. They will take that shelling and only minorly losing out on a couple of units. So, the attack has been quelled. Will they make a move of their own though? This Thor with 14 health points is barely hanging on. The last Marine, late to the party. Oh dear. Is that his arm there? Never mind. Plenty more where they came from. So a minor force coming in. Is it a diversion or is it people late to the party? Could it be his barracks are actually set that as a rally point? No. No, it's not. he just didn't like him, sending them to their deaths. So back in the base, Pete is still minted, but his supply is severely down in production. He has 3 Marines and an SCV. It's just not enough from Pete here. He's got to really be putting it down. Looking at the base of Dougie here, he's got some level 3 upgrades coming down and concussive shells for those Thors, and another couple of Banshees, going for quite a mixed army. We also have a level 3 upgrade coming here for Altered Ego, just about to complete soon, and another command center. Is he coming back in that position? No, he's expanding out here after that got taken out. In the gold position, trying to get some more minerals because he's severely low at the moment, leaving a couple of Thors back there. But here we go, the attack is coming in. Plenty of Thors and enough medivacs just to try and help out. Although he does have the vision, the higher vision, these Thors will be met with a fair bit of resistance. A lot of stimmed Marines here. All these Thors will get taken down by that handful of Marines. Back in the main base we have, oh dear, the cloaked Banshees of Dougie happened to wipe it up. Minimal damage, that factory will burn down if we don't get an SCV to there. That supply depot will go down in about 5 seconds. Will we get an SCV to it? There's one there. No, never mind. Okay, these Banshees favoured by Dougie are coming out again. Their energy is low, but the missile turrets will see them anyway. If they get that far. No, we got a couple of Thors. And that troop of Marines executing that one other Marine. I think this was the platoon that took down all those Thors. A shiny medal pinned on their chest. This game really starting to go on now. 36, 37 minutes. And showing no real signs of stopping. Those Thors taking down those destructible rocks so that command center can get a wee bit closer, making the mining more efficient. At the moment this command center is not on fire, just smoking a bit, but it isn't doing anything. He hasn't landed it, so all these SCVs have got to run all the way back into the nearest nearest command center, which is over here. So not the most efficient run at the moment here, but he spotted that mistake and now he's landing it. Over here, Pete is still tickled pink in for this gold mineral, starting to eat these down. The bonus of the gold minerals is, normally every time an SCV sort of collects and goes back to the base, they will get 5 minerals, whereas on gold they will get 7. So it's about 1.5 times efficient. Another expansion coming out here, they're starting to expand into the middle as this game drags on, otherwise they will starve each other out. Production wise, we have nothing being produced here by Altered Ego. He's sitting on a few minerals, not a huge amount, but his supply is still low. Most of that, I'd wager, are SCVs. Over here in the yellow in production, more SCVs. Here from Mr. Troke, not a lot else coming out. His supply count very low on only 52. Whereas if we come down to Dougie here, he's on 100 supply. His main base is entirely mined out now, so that area is just a holding ground for his units. Pete entirely mined out of his main, and could even lift that up and send it to another location. But again, his supply at 100, favouring the Marines. I can't believe I'm going to have to upload all this. God, they better not make it too long. It's already going to be about a 5-hour, 6-hour upload already. Oh. Another attack forming up here. And they're moving out. With very little military production coming out from up north, this may do heavy damage. destroying those destructible rocks, he will run up there and see the two unprotected command centres. They will fall. Here they go, those Banshees are cloaked up. Pete's Marines running in from behind with the medivacs. Taking out these expansions, starving their opponent out. That command centre will go down, and onto the other, unless he lifts that off quickly, and it's down. Very minimal losses because there was no protection. The expansion here is safe, although doing nothing. So now they can use this base as a holding pen. But that's not going to matter. They are moving out again into narrowly avoiding the missile turrets. Seeing the army there. I'm not sure if they saw him. Now the Heavy Marine army moving out, they're going to go for a poke at another one of the expansions. That is a whole lot of Marines. 48, we are talking 56 Marines. But they're going to walk into these Thors, but as we've seen before, these Marines will eat those Thors up quite nicely, especially now they've stimmed. It looks like this expansion will go down, although the planetary fortress will be fighting it. Peter there using the A move, so only this front line of Marines can fire. All the rest dancing around here, not being able to fire. It's not the most efficient way to attack, especially now Ego has pulled those SCVs off the line and repairing that planetary fortress. He will keep that base, unless he moves in and stims quickly to come back. Those 56 Marines brought down to a paltry 24, 32. Back in the main base, sorry, I missed that quickly. Dougie Darko has moved in on the main production base for Mr. Troke. It's not looking too good. I too apologise for missing that, although with such a low supply count, I think he had about 80 or 90 at last count. It wasn't too surprising walking in. So just a basic unit composition. Takes the day by the looks of it. This army is just going to walk on across with very minimal resistance. One could say their production should have been higher beforehand, but they never really recovered from the early poking from the Banshees. A group of Thors coming out here, although without a scan, with his main command centre being taken down, he cannot scan and he cannot see them. They will just get slowly eaten away until their power runs out, which could be soon. Here we go, one's out. All three Banshees now uncloaked, however. He's just trying to recoil back for his forces. The unstoppable wave coming in here for Dougie Darko still moving through. This is pretty much going to decimate every production facility and everything he's got. It's not looking good for Team North at the moment. All the spare SCVs are coming down here. However, with so much of a residual army still remaining for both players, it's not looking too good. I would expect a GG to be called. Oh, and Altered Ego has left the game. So with one out, and also Mr. Troke, Danger Mouse has left the game as well. So victory for Team South, for Dougie Darko and for Hunter VP. A good game with well-coordinated attacks with basic units has taken it. One could argue that early push did the trick, but there's no denying it. Team South reigns supreme. Let's just have a look at the quick graphs here. So you can see here Danger Mouse with a massive army value, but that late skirmish absolutely decimated his forces right down. You would argue that running into that siege tank line really didn't do him any favours. But then after this, after the main attack, you can see that the sort of army value, the production didn't really come back for Team North. They just didn't do it, whereas you can see the very sharp upward spikes here. Although Peter was floating a lot of minerals, they both had the cash to do it, although Team North just didn't get producing again. So there we go. Team South, Dougie Darko and Hunter VP take the first scrubbly game. Hopefully many more to come. Okie dokes, I'll see you again. Bye!